Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple book by chapter, verse by verse study through the entire Bible. Currently, we are in Ezekiel chapter 10, and again, Ezekiel, his counterparts is Jeremiah and Daniel. Jeremiah, as the nation is being decimated by Nebuchadnezzar, is still in Judah, Jerusalem. Daniel has been deported as Ezekiel were, but they're in two different parts. Daniel is more in the government side. Of course, in the next book, we will get to the book of Daniel. Ezekiel is a very interesting prophet because of the revelation that he is receiving. We get more of an insight into some, and I want to say when I say insight, a glimpse of just the glory of God, things that are going on in the spirit realm, and it's just amazing. So, excuse me, let's get to it. Excuse me. Ezekiel chapter 10, and it says, "And I looked, and there in the firmament there was above the head of a cherubim. And there appeared something like a sapphire stone, having the appearance of the likeness of a throne." Now, one of the things we see now, and sometimes from a lack of teaching, I know I thought for the longest that when we talk about angels, that was sort of the extent of heavenly creatures. In other words, everything was called an angel, and that's not true. So under the category of heavenly creatures, and there are many, so you have different kinds of classifications of heavenly creatures. Angels by definition are messengers, and that's pretty much what you see. That when you see an angel, they are delivering a message. Then there's what's called the archangels, and one of the most famous archangels is Michael. And we see him from the Old Testament all the way in the book of um, Revelation, which he is a warring angel. He kind of defends Israel. And then there are other kinds of different cherubs, like cherubs, sapphirims, and the cherubs seem to be the highest order of these heavenly creatures. Lucifer was a cherub. The sapphirims, which are ones we saw before, which they had, one class had 6 wings and eyes all around, 4 different faces. You don't know what the heck that thing looks like, but it would be amazing to look at, okay? So now he brings in a cherubim, okay, and which I guess seemed to be one of the highest orders, okay, of these heavenly creatures. So then it says, again, so I looked, and there in the feminine that was above, you know what? This is not, I'm going to call this the expanse here. Hold on, let me, I want to switch back. I was doing another study, but I like the Holman Christian Standard Translation, so I'm going to go back to that. All right. Then it says, "Then I looked, and there above the expanse over the head of the cherub, over the heads of the cherubim." Interesting, because it says heads, and then cherubim is singular. Heads is it's many. So I wonder. Anyway, it's these. I don't know. Like I say, there could be just different kinds of heavenly creatures there. It says, "But over the heads of the cherubim was something like a sapphire, a stone resembling the shape of a throne that appeared above them." And the Lord spoke to the man clothed in linen and said, "Go inside of the wheelwork beneath the cherubim. Fill your hands with hot coals from among the cherubim and scatter them over the city." So I went in, and as I watched. I went in as I watched. Now the cherubim was standing to the south of the temple when the man went in, and the cloud filled the inner court. Then the glory of the Lord rose from above the cherubim to the threshold of the temple. And the temple was filled with a cloud, and the courts was filled with the brightness of the Lord's glory. Now, the Lord's glory, God's presence, which we haven't seen, and Israel saw it. If you remember when Moses saw it, let me even go kind of back up, because when we see appearances of God, in most cases, if not all, they are in the form of an angel. So like when the angel appeared to Moses in the burning bush. So it wasn't actually the Lord himself. Now there was a time when God said, "Okay, I'm going to let you see my glory as I pass by." And then he makes a statement that no man can look upon me and live. So we have this statement here. One of the reasons why we haven't seen God's glory, because our physical anatomy, our physical self could not stand it. Now there's going to come a time that God promised that he will dwell among us and we will see his face. And that's interesting enough in itself, that we will see his face. But the power of God, the um, 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 brilliance and the beauty of God, the glory of God. If God was to appear, you would see a cloud, and a bright cloud, but it would be even more than that. It would be so awe-striking that you would immediately shrink. You would fall. So this glory cloud kind of just shows, when that cloud shows up, it's going to be awestruck. You're going to be awestruck. Okay. So it says again, the temple was filled with the cloud, and the court was filled with the brightness of the Lord's glory. The sound of the cherubim's rings could be heard as far as the outer court. It was like a voice of Almighty God when he speaks. Now, these cherubims seem to be the same creatures we saw earlier, but they were called seraphims back in chapter 4. So I'm a little confused there. I don't know if it's the same, if it is the same one. Let me see here, because I am, let's see, where are we at here? I think it was called, let's see, that chapter 1, was it? True. I thought they were called seraphim, but okay, I'm not gonna, like in chapter 1, chapters 1 to chapter 4, when we saw the creatures before, I thought they were called, seraphims. But all right. Okay, but anyway, I won't trip over it, because now I'm curious. All right. Anyway, it says that, but these seem to be the same creatures in chapter 1. I thought they were called seraphims, but now these are called cherubims. And again, I might be wrong here. Okay. So he says, the sound of cherubim wings could be heard as far as the outer court. It was like the voice of Almighty God when he speaks. After the Lord commanded the man clothed in linen, saying, "Take fire from inside the wheelwork, from among the cherubim." The man went in and stood beside the wheel. Then the cherub reached out his hand to the fire that was among them. And he took some and put it into the hand of the man clothed in linen, who took it and went out. The cherubim appeared to have the form of human hand under his wings. Now we saw this in chapter 1, where he had 2 wings, 6 wings, but hands under his wings. And then remember, he had 4 different faces. Okay, wow, yeah. Verse 9, I looked, and there were 4 wheels beside the cherubim, 1 wheel beside each cherub. The luster of the wheels was like the glory of beryl. In appearance, all 4 had the same form, like a wheel within a wheel. And when they moved, they would go in any 4 directions without pivoting as they move. And whenever the head faced, they would go in that direction without pivoting as they went. Now, this, again, is describing something kind of amazing, beyond amazing, that the preciseness and speed and how they would move. So in other words, if we were watching this, when you think about, you watch a superb athlete when they perform, a Michael Jordan, a Walter Payton, a Babe Ruth, when he, the people, just to be able to sit in the field and just watch when he, hit a excuse me, home run. Poor analogy, however, when to see how these things moved with such preciseness and speed and precision, it would be just awesome, awe-striking to see. It says their entire bodies, including their backs, hands, wings, and the wheel that the 4 of them had, were filled with eyes all around. So yeah, okay, these are the same. These are the same creatures we saw in chapter 1. As I listened, the wheels were called the wheelwork. Each one had 4 faces. The first face was that of a cherub. The second was that of a man. The third was that of a lion. And the fourth was that of an eagle. The cherub ascended, and these were the living creatures I've seen by the... Oh, he even said that right here, okay. These are the one I see by the Chapar canal. So when the cherub moved, the wheels moved beside them, and when they lifted their wings to rise from the earth, even then the wheels did not veer away from them. And when the cherub stood still, the wheels stood still. When they ascended, the wheels ascended with them. But the spirit of the living creatures was in them. So then the glory of the Lord moved away from the threshold of the temple and stood above the cherub. Then the cherub lifted their wings and ascended from the earth right before my eyes. The wheels were beside them as they went. The glory of the Lord of Israel, the glory of the God of Israel, was above them, and it stood at the entrance to the eastern gate of the Lord's house. These were the living creatures I have seen beneath the God of Israel by the Chebar canal, and I recognized that they were cherubims. Each had 4 faces, and each had 4 wings. With the form of a human hand under their wings, their faces looked like the same faces I've seen by the Chebar canal. Canal. Each creature was straight ahead. So again, just kind of a awe thing here. But one of the things, so when we would see something like this, we would not, now this is a revelation, okay? This is a revelation. So in the natural realm in which we live in, the physical realm, okay? And I'll kind of indulge myself a little bit. Let me just start with this. The reason why we don't see something like this, we don't see this every day. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of people who claim to have these kind of revelations. Most of the time, they're lying. But just in kind of the only way you can have this kind of revelation is that God grants it for God's purpose, and that's what you see here. So for example, not everyone had this kind of revelation, and so you remember I said that I don't kind of like the title major and minor prophets. Well, let me just say this, but as an exception. This kind of revelation would certainly distinguish him as one of the major prophets. But right here, this would be one of the ones that would, that God chose to give him this kind of revelation. And you can only get this kind of revelation if God grants it, if God wills it for his purpose. That is the only reason why you cannot believe or have faith for it. You cannot ask God for it. Only this would be something from the sovereign will of God, period. Only. Okay? All right. And again, but it is, so, like I say, it's almost kind of like, wow. It is awe-inspiring to see something like this. Okay? Just, wow. When I think about this, because I think about what heaven would be like. And I think this is I think about what heaven would be like. Okay, what heaven would be like. So we see this revelation of what's going on in behind the scenes. It's not behind the scenes, actually, it's in the spiritual realm. But just kind of imagine this, though. Just kind of imagine what we will see in the spiritual realm. So my point is that it's the spiritual realm is not like how television, when they present the spiritual realm, like ghosts, they don't have a clue. So and what's interesting about the spiritual realm is, remember, it's the real existence. So that we exist within space and time that God created. So, like, imagine an aquarium, where as we look into an aquarium, but God, the spiritual realm around us is the real existence, and that is why when we die, we don't cease to exist. There's stuff that's just going on all around. So I can imagine, you think about your loved ones that have passed away, and as Paul said, to be absent from the bodies, to be present with the Lord. So just to kind of imagine what could be happening with them, what they could be doing. And I don't know what they're doing. I'm not going to speculate, but we can imagine. Just imagine when we look at this kind of revelation here. These creatures exist in the spiritual realm, and just imagine you being in the spiritual realm, and what else exists that God is not revealing here, but we have enough revelation to know that a whole lot more is going on out there. Wow. All right, guys. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. See you in the next study.